Good morning, everyone. So, hope you have your tea, your breakfast, and you all have enjoyed your morning. Thank you for coming to this convocation, very important day for us. So, to all distinguished guests, respected mentors, partners, supporters, fellows, and all members of Buddha Institute family, a warm welcome to this great day, this important day for Buddha Institute. Today is not just a convocation; it is a celebration day, celebration of courage, conviction, and community. The journey of Buddha Institute begins in 2018 when the idea started to have people who are coming from rural areas to fill the very important gap of market and be the powerful tool catalyst to change the rural ecosystem. These are the India's most transformative leaders that we have with us, and they are hailing from tier 2, tier 3 cities, towns, and they serve the underserved communities at large. We believe that if grassroots entrepreneurs are given the platform, the opportunities, the mentorship, and structured support, that solves the complex problem of communities in India. From this belief, we started with a mission to create and develop a progressive, inclusive India through entrepreneur change makers. Our mission is to empower the community of entrepreneurs and have around 3,000 people with us uh, by 2030. The Buddha Institute was not created as just another incubation program. It was designed as a long-term leadership journey, a space where enterprise meets empathy, where scale meets sustainability, where growth is measured not only in revenue, but in the lives uplifted. Our model of work is anchored by three pillars: selection, mentorship, and growth. Each fellow here today represents not just as enterprise, but a community, not a business, but a movement. For those who are graduating today, you came with ideas, you leave with clarity, you came with passion, you leave with structure, you came as entrepreneurs, you leave as leaders of impact. And to our mentors and partners and supporters, thank you for believing in this journey. And indeed, we build a more compassionate and inclusive India together. Let us celebrate this day, this completion of fellowship of two cohort with us, 2022, 24 and 2023-25 cohort fellows. And I welcome from the side of Buddha Institute to all of you to this important day. Let us begin this journey of celebration and impact together.
Uh, so we welcome stage Dr. Jyoti Srivastava, director Vaishali Kala Kendra and performer. Her disciples and performing today Nitra Bilas, which is a invocatory theme based on the rag Kalavati and Tal Ektali. The dancers are Shruti Mishra and Arshi Das. Please.
thinita thinakita thinita grdhinak dhinita thinita thinakita thinita grdhinak dhinita thinita thinakita thinita grdhinak dhinidhan dakita deita kritkada digna dinta din dinak dinta tin thina 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 dadri kritkada kritkada indri kritkada kritkada dadri kritkada 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 tak kritkada digna dei tak kritkada digna dei tak kritkada digna dei थिना का थिन थिनी तक थिनी तक ता थिन थिना का थिन थिनी तक थिनी तक ता थिन थिना का थिन थिनी तक थिनी तक दिंदा ता तदे 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 दे ता थिन थिना तक ता थिन थिना ता थिन थिना का ता थिन थिना का थिनी तक दे ता थिन थिना तक ता थिन थिना ता थिन थिना ता थिन थिना का थिनी तक ता थों ता थिन तक दिंदा ता थिन तक दिंदा थों ता थिन तक दिंदा ता थिन तक दिंदा थों ता थिन तक दिंदा tingin दा गदिगिन दा
I hope you enjoyed this performance. Nothing important to celebrate a day with this, with cultural performances, with cultural people. Thank you, Vaishali Kala Kendra people. Thank you, ma'am. So moving forward to continue the celebration, we have a song performance by Siddharth Mukherjee. So Siddharth is an independent vocal artist. He is a very interesting musician who knows Greek and Middle East song music as well as Greek theaters. He is actually involved in creation of new styles of musics and increase ongoing lifestyle quest. Yeah.
As I was witnessing the wonderful performance by the young ladies here, I couldn't help but think that, I couldn't help but notice the diligence and the discipline. And this is what I see in front of me today. A diligence and discipline that takes one from this level to this level. And aren't we all celebrating that today? There will be problems down the road, but कभी हार के रुकना नहीं है. रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के, कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के. रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के, कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के. रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के, घाटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के। ओ राही 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 ओ राही। साथी न कारवा है ये तेरा इंतहा है, साथी न कारवा है ये तेरा इंतहा है। यूं ही चला चल तू दिन के सहारे, करती है मंजिल तुझको इशारे। कोई रोक नहीं ले तुझको पुकार के, रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के। कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के, रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के। कांटों पे चल के मिलेंगे साए बाहर के। ओ राही 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 ओ राही।
Am I not audible? No. I have been helping our Buddha fellows shaping up their ventures and growing their ventures. And they are the key part of our fellowship program, because mentorship provides very crucial guidance and way forward for the entrepreneurs so that they can grow their businesses by mitigating the challenges, and whatever mistakes they can do, they avoid those mistakes also. So for that, let me invite Mr. Rajesh Daya sir and to the stage. He is the former executive director of Axis Bank Foundation and honorable board member of Education for Employability Foundation also, and he is the very supporter of this Buddha Fellowship program since very beginning of this program when we started in 2018. So he will guide us about the mentorship program. Please.
Thank you. Leave it. Thank you very much, everyone. It's truly what everyone said. It's not convocation, it's celebration. For many of us, it's a celebration that started taking shape 8-9 years back in Wade's mind, and then many of us joined him in his large vision for the whole country. When we look, at least when I look back at this whole journey, and I look at how this provides a platform for the entrepreneurs, and especially the ones who are working for the rural India. And Veda told me that there must be a couplet. देख जिंदा से परे रंग चमन जोश बहार
रक्स करना है तो फिर पाम की जंजीर न देख। अगर इंग्लिश में तर्जुमा करूं तो द गार्डन ब्लूम्स जस्ट बियॉन्ड द केज, डांस यू मस्ट, नेवर माइंड द चेन्स। So that's my understanding of our fellows, our partners, and the participants of this program. However, the flowers may bloom, the birds may fly, but there is always a need of a mali or a caretaker. And I think this program largely rests on the work done by the mentors to this program. The role they play, the experience. Our entrepreneurs have ideas, passion, energy, commitment, but the benefit of wisdom of decades of experience that comes from our mentors, in my mind, that's the key differentiator between what the rest of the platform are doing and what we are doing. So as we will celebrate the entrepreneurs, allow me to begin with celebration and applause for all of you who have been mentoring, hand-holding, teaching, coaching, we can use any word, but who are crux for the success of this program. My thank you to everyone. We will read out the name, and I'll also take permission to have a quick chat here with some of them so that we understand the kind of stories that we have and the kind of work that we are seeing on the ground.
So, thank you, sir. So, as I said, there are Buddha Institute is having so many experienced mentors and industry experts also. So, I will, to honor them and to felicitate them, I would like to read their name first, and after that, the mentors who are here, we will invite them on the stage to felicitate them also. So let me read out the name of the mentors of Buddha Institute. So the mentors are Shobha Agrawal, Sandeep Bhatia sir, Vivek Chandra, Chitranjan Dar, Ashok Grover, Mr. Charan Bhalla, Mr. Vaibhav Bhamoriya, Mr. Pankaj Khandelwal, Mr. Sunil Kolangara, Mr. Sudeep Thakur, Mr. M.S. Jagan, Mr. Sanjay Jain, Mr. N.V. Ramna, Mr. Sanjay Guha, Mr. Saurabh Johri, Mr. Vyomesh Joshi, Mr. Ashok Juneja, Mr. Romesh Kaul, Shesha Allah Prabhu, Mr. Pradeep Mate, Mr. Yugandhar Mandavkar, Mr. Sushil Ramola, Mr. Triptaran Singh Shetty, Mr. Naresh Kumar Sharma, Mr. Pratul Shroff, Mr. Sudhindra Tatti, Mr. Parag Bejbora, Mr. Nimesh Shumati, Mr. Ketan Sarda, Mr. Rajesh Dahiya sir himself, Mr. Saurabh Goyal, and Mr. Samir Bhargava. So these are our eminent mentors who have been helping and supporting our fellow and as well as the Buddha team also in growing this Buddha Fellowship program, and we hope in coming years we will support, nurture and grow Buddha Fellow like you, more Buddha Fellow like you. Thank you. So now this is the time we will invite the eminent mentors who are present here, and Rajesh Daya sir will felicitate them by providing this shawl. Should I? Huh? Yes. So I would like to, Mr. Charan Bhalla sir, he is there? Not here. So let me invite Mr. Vaibhav Bamuria sir. Please come into the stage. Mr. Sandeep Bhatia, sir. Please come on. We call him Chacha also. Chacha of our mentor. Chitranjan Dar. Romesh Kaul, sir. Pankaj Khandelwal, sir. Sunil Kolangara, sir. Triptaran Sethi, sir. We have also a special mentor with us. He's super mentor, I think, and he is also our brand guru. He's not only brand guru for Buddha Fellows, he is brand guru for our whole institute also. He has been supporting us in a very lot manner. So I would like to invite as a special mentor Mr. Indranil Gupta to come on stage. So, thank you, Rajesh sir. We have done the job. So, we will go to the next session. So, I would like to invite again Mr. Siddharth for the another performance.
Things are already getting energized, as we can see. भैया ये भी dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara भैया यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन ये दुनिया फूल सारे झमेले देख फूलों के मेले बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया फूल सारे झमेले देख फूलों के मेले बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया ये रास्ता है कह रहा अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे ये रास्ता है कह रहा अब मुझसे मिलने को है कोई कहीं अब तुझसे दिल को है ये क्यों बेताबी किससे मुलाकात होनी है जिसका कल तक अरमा था शायद वही बात होनी है यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही जीवन गाड़ी है समय पहिया आंसू की बगिया भी है खुशियों की बगिया भी है रास्ता कब तेरा रोके भैया यूं ही चला चल रही यूं ही चला चल रही जीवन गाड़ी है समय पहिया आंसू की नदियां भी है खुशियों की नदियां भी है रास्ता कब तेरा रोके भैया dum dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara भैया dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara dum tarara भैया
सिद्धार्थ काफ़ी ऊर्जा है और कार्यक्रम को
They have received mentoring from leading experts and unlocked access to impact capital, all with one goal of treating rural India as a center of value addition rather than a place of charity. People don't need charity. They just need some hand-holding. And this they have proven. For us as an organization, this day is a validation of our beliefs. Seeing these fellows today, who have traversed very difficult terrains to reach this milestone, brings us close to achieving our vision, which is very large. The vision is to create 1,000 Buddha Fellows, to support 1,000 Buddha Fellows by 2030, to impact around 5 million lives. It's a large vision, but we have made some solid beginnings, and this gives us hope. Each of you, Buddha Fellow, who is graduating today, is a testament to the fact that the ecosystem that we are trying to build, one of mentorship, hand-holding, and peer support, actually works. And I think that is what we are celebrating today. Your compassion, your energy, and also success of this framework. You are the proof that it's possible to scale enterprises while staying deeply rooted on the ground. And you are the bridge between aspiration and reality for countless rural families. And for you, Buddha Fellows, this convocation is a rite of passage. 2 years ago, maybe for you, in many cases, many years ago, you took a road which was less traveled. You chose the uncertainty of entrepreneurship in very difficult rural areas and the challenges of rural immersion over the ease of conventional careers. And you have learned to navigate the complexities of market, complexity of business, while staying true to your social mission. I think that is the key part. You have faced many hurdles, we have been with you, and moments of doubt, but you have persevered. Today you are not just graduating with a certificate, you are leaving with an enterprise that has been stress tested, a network of mentors who have your back lifelong, and the camaraderie of a cohort, the fellows, that is now your lifelong peer group. Today we will celebrate you, your perseverance, your dedication to the cause, and your never say die spirit when nothing was going your way. As you stand at this threshold, remember that the fellowship may be ending, but your role as a change maker is just beginning, and you will be the flag bearer of the idea that business and compassion can coexist, and we will work together. So with these words, I will hand over the mic to Indranil for the anthem.
थैंक यू सर. सो सर की बातों को आगे बढ़ाते हुए many of you would know
fellows as they prepare one with a brief, very brief description of their fellowship's contribution, and request them to come on the stage to receive their certificates from Mr. Sinha. Satyendra is the founder of Bastar Se Bazaar Tak, an initiative dedicated to connecting tribal artisans of Bastar with wider markets. Through his efforts, he works to promote traditional crafts, strengthen rural livelihoods, and ensure fair value for producers. His mission focuses on bridging the gap between local craftsmanship and national marketplaces. Mahesh Londhe from Pune leads Millets Now, supporting 7,500 millet farmers and serving nutritious, locally sourced meals to over 250,000 school children. Ravi not here. Ravi's not here. Yeah. Srinivas Rao addressing grassroots agricultural challenges. Mahesh Kalita from Assam bridges farm to fashion through Manas Kalita from Assam bridges farm to fashion through traditional Northeast using Eri silk to connect artisans to global markets and generating 1.6 crore in revenue. Kamlesh from Mandya founded the Farming Buddha, delivering organic cow milk directly from his small farmers to cities while creating women-led rural employment. Sharad Nirala is building a decentralized rural agri-food ecosystem that enables small farmers and micro-entrepreneurs to transition from subsistence to sustainable income through value addition, market access, and scale.
Between venture capital and village, and your goal is not just the bottom line, but the bottom of the pyramid. In our ancient wisdom, wealth was never seen as an enemy of righteousness, that is dharma. In Gita, Krishna tells Arjun, Yoga karmasu kausalam. Yoga is excellence in action. Entrepreneurship is your sadhana. When you build a business that solves a village water crisis or provide livelihood to women, you are practicing niskam karma, action focused on the process and the public good, rather than mere greed. In Arthasas, Kautilya wrote, Sukhasya moolam dharma, dharmasya moolam artha. Without economic resources and without the entrepreneurship, we can't sustain a moral or a just society. In the Constitution also, if we see Article 19(1)(g) grants is kind of we trust you, we focus on your innovation, not just litigation. The finance is being democratized. The mudras and the Stand Up India, they are providing capital, and today the number stands at about rupees 27 lakh crores, which has been disbursed to entrepreneurs, 70% of whom happen to be women. And these digital public infrastructures like UPI and ONDC are democratizing entrepreneurship. Today, when you go to the vegetable markets, it's not necessary to carry change. You can do a lot of business as small as 10 rupees through UPI. ONDC will further democratize it, and platforms like Bharat Taxi are further democratizing the move towards entrepreneurship. We need to have many more such platforms through which small players are able to join in a fair system which is protecting their interest. And I believe, and I would like to believe, I would like to be assured by the kind of work that you have been doing, that such a move is being indeed undertaken. Today, we of course have yardsticks that need to kind of measure what Buddha Institute is trying to do. We are not just focusing on the bottom line of a particular year, but I believe, and that's my hope, in the medium term, 3 to 5 years, we are looking at the enterprise viability. We are looking at the agency of the community working with people like you to create jobs, create employments that provides a fair value of the value chain, which in many cases is not there. I was told that a particular mobility company is taking a very substantial part of the revenues that the taxi walas earn. And there are examples of such kind. People who provide electronic marketplace, they take 35% of your revenue. So we need marketplaces which provide a fair kind of thing, and which give community agencies. And I would also like to believe that our enterprises and our entrepreneurs have been successful if the their engagement with the community and the social contract, though unwritten, will be such that places community in the center and that works with the consent of the community rather than riding roughshod over them. And in the long term, I would tend to believe that 2 yardsticks will kind of be the measures of whether we have been successful or not. One is that people who have moved with you from below the poverty line to the above the poverty line, they stay that way despite the shocks that come their way. And two, we would also like to believe that with this comes the intergenerational mobility. People do not get stuck in the kind of vocations that they have been doing over the generations, but move up, and that there is opportunity for everybody to move up. So that's the kind of social entrepreneurship that I believe you should be doing, and that Buddha Institute should be addressing. Today we have AI as a major storm coming our way. We are being told that our jobs will vanish in 12 months' time. But I think AI can certainly provide insights, and it can detect the crop disease, it can bridge the language gap for you, and you would not be correct if you ignore this social force. You should be in a position to harness that. Today we have Bulbul 3 coming up, which is a product of Sarvam AI, which provides translation facilities in voice of 13 languages. Why not we utilize this to expand the market? However, you should utilize it, but don't believe for a moment that AI can replace you, because when there is place for human empathy, despite the claims that robotic humanoids kind of situations will provide the care, will provide the human empathy, I am not convinced, and there will continue to be a place where the milk of human empathy will need to be provided by the human agency, and this is what you will be providing. I, at this moment, I often go back to the Gandhi's talisman, and which likes you to place the lowest man, the Antyodaya, people at the bottom of the rung of ladder, as the keystone or the yardstick through which you would be measuring the worth of what you have been doing. And I would like to quote Gandhiji: whenever you are in doubt or when the self becomes too much with you, apply the following test. Recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man whom you may have seen, and ask yourself if the step that you contemplate is going to be of any use to him. Will he or she, of course, gain anything by it? Will it restore him, her to a control over his or her own life and destiny? So that's the test I would request each one of the Buddha fellows to apply to the actions that they undertake. We have many opportunities coming up, and these are large-scale missions being undertaken. For example, Mission Lakhpati is an opportunity, is a mission of the National Rural Livelihood Mission and associated ecosystem to make 3 crore women Lakhpatis by 2027, and I would also tend to believe by 2030 they should empower all the 10 crore SHGs and take them to situation where they also become Lakhpatis. But I think the goal is much larger, and where people often falter, and that's where Vedji and I had long discussion, is that the enterprises that are taken up under the National Rural Livelihood Mission do need social entrepreneurs like you. So the role of a fair aggregator is often not available, and there the role of a social entrepreneur, the development entrepreneur is there, where they provide the connection with the market, with the last mile, but a conscientious connection, a fair connection, a connection which values their role. I mean, of course, you are taking risk, and therefore you would like to be compensated for the risk that you are taking. But a fair compensation, a fair value for the risk that you are undertaking, and unfair carve out is what should differentiate you from the rest of the pack, which often do not have such scruples. So I would request you, all the Buddha Fellows, and I would request Buddha Institute to kind of emphasize this always. And as the fellowship runs under Buddha's name, so a reference to middle path is always there. And so I would request that you also follow a middle path, avoid the extreme of pure profit, which leads to exploitation, avoid the extreme of pure charity, which leads to dependence, and walk the path of development entrepreneurship, which leads to self-reliance. You are the modern day sannyasis of the marketplace. Go forth, create wealth with a soul, and build an India where Lakhpati is not a dream but a baseline. Your fellowship is a bridge between the high-tech potential of the future and profound needs of the present. Go forth not as a saviors but as entrepreneurs of hope. Congratulations to the cohort which have just graduated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your insightful thoughts. You take us through your understanding of Buddha Fellows. You also talked about constitutional insights. And you also mentioned what AI is bringing to the ecosystem, what we can take from AI-based support. You also mentioned about Gandhian thought on contemplation and opportunities that the fellows have on Lakhpati Didi program, where 3 crore women are to be supported by 2027 and around 10 crore women by 2030. You also talked about what is the relation that we can see between women entrepreneurs supported by an RLM and our entrepreneurs who are part of the Buddha Fellowship program. Sir, while we were felicitating the fellows, we have another Buddha Fellow from 22-24 cohort, Ravi Raj, with us. So I would like to call Ravi Raj on the stage. So Ravi Raj is working in Gujarat. He is founder of Koraj Craft, converting banana fiber waste into handmade paper products while empowering tribal artisans with sustainable livelihood. I'll also request Rajiv sir to come on stage and give our respect and felicitate sir with flowers. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. अपनी बात को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए एक शेर कहूँगा। कहानी अभी अधूरी है, अभी तो रात बाकी है। कहानी अभी अधूरी है, अभी तो रात बाकी है। मिलोगे तो सुनाऊंगा वो जो अधूरी सी बात बाकी है। तो जो अधूरी बात रह गई थी, हमारी एंथम के साथ वीडियो की वो शुरू करते हैं. आई रिक्वेस्ट अनुपम टू प्ले दैट वीडियो.
We gather under the Buddha name with deep resolve, not claims to fame, to serve our countrymen, young and old, create happy stories that hearts can hold.
Thank you, Indranil sir, for creating such a beautiful anthem for Buddha Institute. So now, for the next session, I will build on what N.N. Sinha sir just had shared about supporting Lakpati Didis and rural women through entrepreneurship. So we would like to mention here Buddha Institute in partnership with RCRC have developed a program that is called Mahila Biz, and this is to support rural women entrepreneurs. To give a glimpse of that program, I would like to invite Vandana. She will share some glimpses of that program. Vandana, please.
Thank you, Arvind. Good morning once again. I am Vandana, working in RCRC team. By gaining the experience of Buddha Institute, that how the entrepreneurs are creating impact in the ground, we have designed a separate program called Mahila Biz, that women in business. This program is to support women entrepreneurs. It is called that Samarth Mahila, Samarth Bharat. If the women become the capable, then India can be achieve its vision of Viksit Bharat in 2047. So in this program, we have vision to nurture 1 million women entrepreneurs that will create, she will create 2 million jobs in her surroundings, in her own village, and able to create impact for 15 million individuals in the rural families. So we have seen that there are several challenges with women entrepreneurs, like more than 70% of rural women entrepreneurs are able to earn only $4.1 per day. It's a very less amount for a woman in business. So we are addressing these challenges. Another challenge that women are not able to get individual loans. They, if a woman go to banks, in average, they are able to receive only 40,000 loan for their at individual levels. So this is another kind of challenge they are facing. So, and next one is the challenge they are facing about the market, that they are able to sell their produce in local markets only. They are facing, many women are in these businesses, but they are facing challenge of selling their products in market, in outside their areas. So looking into these challenges, we have designed these programs, and this is a joint initiative of RCRC, the Responsible Coalition of Resilient Community. This is the coalition of 98 organizations, and Buddha Institute. Both are coming together to implement this program. So to talk on this, more on this Mahila Biz program, I would like to invite Majid Sinha sir. He is an ex-IS officer of 1983 batch. He has a very vast experience in government. He has 35 years of experience. He has worked as a former secretary under Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. Sir, I would please come on the dais. Thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. I didn't know that I had to speak. Ved wanted me to be here, so I came to be with the young, bright minds trying to break new pathways. जो आपका प्रयास है, many of you, you've chosen to get into enterprise, something that is not very easy, but I'm sure you have thought through the challenges ahead. Many of them you've already faced, and many more will come your way. The Mahila Biz program, about which I have been asked to speak, I would just narrate a few examples, because we sincerely tried to see whether sustaining community mobilization alone, only by itself, without adequate economic activity or diversification of livelihoods, has major limitations. With that in mind, some of the women's collectives, in the course of discussions with them, said that we would like to take up some collective activity where we can all have a fair aggregation. Naginder also talked about aggregation. Aggregation is a way forward, but how do you have a fair aggregation? They decided not to go through the cooperative route for their dairy primary cooperative. They went through the producer company route. Luckily for us, the National Dairy Development Board Services, a wing of the NDDB, which sets up producer companies, they came forward to be the technical partner under the Rural Livelihood Mission. And very clear policy call that we took, that not 1 rupee of capital subsidy, that is not the pathway to enterprise. We keep pumping capital subsidy without returns. We said we will give you the salaries for the managers that you need, the HR that you need, only for 3 to 5 years, after which the dairy producer company has to be on its own. 5 such companies have been working now since 2018. One of them, whose example you can always look up at, is in the Bundelkhand region of Uttar Pradesh, the Balini Producer Company. I have seen the reports of 23-24. I am sure it would have grown since then further. Balini Producer Company has 68,000 women from self-help groups as members spread across 7 districts. The total revenues so far are more than 700 crores. Range of products that they are doing. All households, all 68,000 households, their incomes have moved up. Clearly there was something right in the social capital and the focus on HR as critical. Also aligning with public programs, and luckily as was mentioned, the Lakhpati Didi is a government priority. It's an opportunity for every entrepreneur here, every Buddha fellow here. Governments are keen to move forward to create Lakhpati Didis. There is a lot of support which can come to your efforts by aligning it in such a manner that these Lakhpati Didis have a role in your program. The second example which I wanted to give was the one about the Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program. 2016 budget, Mr. Arun Jaitley, the then finance minister, made an announcement that the government wishes to launch a Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program under the Rural Livelihood Mission. Very little details were available from the budget, and we were thereafter told that this has to be operationalized. We asked for time, and luckily we had an ex-entrepreneur working with us in the Rural Livelihood Mission, Rekhi, a professional who had been engaged by the Rural Livelihood Mission. We said that you are the guru of all of us. Now you lead us. How do we go about this program? We don't know anything. So the steps that he took indicates that there are ways in which things do work even on scale, on enterprise. First and foremost, he said, sir, let's not do it in the whole country. We'll limit it to the blocks, the intensive blocks, where we have a lot of social capital with women's collectives. The selection was focused, only those blocks which were intensive blocks with a very large number of women's collectives and the self-help group members. The second condition was that while we will try and get a larger credit or loan based on the proposal that the entrepreneur prepares, can we have a system where not only the women of the house, but along with the women, even the men in the house of a household where women's collectives were strong, could get the loan. The third was, let the loan not be a distant credit instrument. Let it be linked to the community. So what he suggested and which we followed, that rather if somebody needed 12 lakh of loan, let the banks give 9 lakhs, the remaining 3 lakhs, can we increase the community enterprise fund? Normally we have the community investment fund CIF, which is about 2.5 lakhs. can we have a larger community enterprise fund? And if I want to borrow under SVEP, 30% of my borrowing will be from the CEF, remaining 70% from the bank. That gave the community a handle to supervise and have oversight over what is happening with the 10 lakh loan. And what we did find, where the community element of lending is a part of the overall bank credit which is available to the entrepreneur, we found in the SVEP cases, it has been evaluated now on a large scale, both mid-term and end-term. Almost all of the 3 lakh persons who were given this loan have made good use of that loan. The fourth point which came out again was that we've had in the other sectors, agriculture, animal husbandry and others with the women's collectives, a Pashu Sakhi, a Krishi Sakhi, a banking correspondent Sakhi. Is there something we can do for enterprise? In consultation with the Entrepreneurship Development Institute, as also the Kudumshri, we decided that let's create a cadre of community resource persons for enterprise promotion, CRPEP, whose job shall be to guide the entrepreneur where the loan can come from, to guide the entrepreneur about the project proposal, to guide on market access, to support on new research in that sector. All these community resource persons for enterprise promotion were put through a rigorous training program with the EDI and the Kudumshri. Not all of them have done well, but most of them have. And that support, along with the other elements that I mentioned, and a better alignment with the programs of government where they could leverage resources from governments, has resulted in the SVEP being one of the very successful initiatives on enterprise promotion, though not on scale. 3 lakhs is not such a large number, but the principles that went into it, no capital subsidy, HR support, lot of those principles I am sure all of you will encounter in the course of your work. We hope to learn from these in the Mahila Biz effort to be able to create entrepreneurs on scale. But clearly one lesson which came out from these was also the fact, unless the human capital with women's collectives improves, unless adolescent girls have better education and skills, some of these challenges will persist. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amarjit sir, for guiding us on the Mahila Biz front, and you have shared your things based on your experiences, and we will be always in touch with you and our other committee members to implement this program successfully. And as he said, so as Vandana said, so this Mahila Biz program we are going to implement in almost in 7 states, most likely in Bihar, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Assam. And up to date, till now we have already signed MOU with Bihar government and Karnataka government also to support 250,000 RWEs in each state. And we have supporter for this program, funding supporter also. There are, right now we have 2 supporter, Co-Impact and Gates Foundations. So from Gates Foundation, we have Krishna Thakur with us. So I would like to invite Krishna Thakur on the stage. He should share his things about this Mahila Biz program.
Thank you. it's hard to follow Amarjit Sinha sir and NN Sinha sir, and Ved also gave me just a little bit of a heads up that I'm supposed to speak, so I'm not, I did not come with prepared remarks, which is I think a good thing that allows me to speak my mind and sort of share what I truly believe in. So I want to start by congratulating all the Buddha Fellows. You're doing what I did not have the courage to do. And I know how hard it is. And I think, the reason, I sort of, there are so many people who are supporting you. The reason sort of, I think you have that respect. So there are two meta values that I sort of, one, seek to cultivate and that I value the most, right? Courage and compassion. Courage to sort of put your skin in the game, but just courage without compassion, as I think many of you spoke, becomes sort of that entrepreneurship. I think all entrepreneurship has to be social, right? If entrepreneurship isn't social, what's the point of it? Then it becomes sort of gets to the territory of greed, which is corrosive to our social fabric. So I think you demonstrate those two values, both courage and compassion, amply, and sort of. So again, congratulations for going on that journey, going on that path, and I think you have us as supporters, as we are cheering for you, we are supporting you, and happy to walk the path with all of you. Now coming to the program, right? Sanjeev Vikchandhani sir is here, but we are what sort of entrepreneurship? What is our vision for entrepreneurship, right? Like I think there is this sort of, for a while we were obsessed with the idea of unicorns, right? And then we've had this conversation that while, yes, we do want to create large enterprises, but the balance of it, but we also want to create like a 10 million enterprises which are $10 million of revenue each, right? So I think the sort of path to Viksit Bharat is through mass entrepreneurship. And that's kind of the vision that, then we've been discussing for a while. And of course, what you're doing is a crucial part to it. But the key question is, yes, there is sort of an effort to support all of you, but the system also has to allow you to do it, right? So what can we do at a system level to make it a little bit easier for you? And I think that's what Amarjit Sinha sir talked about. How do we sort of work with large systems, NRLM, SRLM, with the Department of Industries, to make sure that we are able to sort of get the right kind of resources and support your way. And so that's on the upstream. And on the downstream, right, how do we sort of connect with the sort of hardest working people in the world, 100 million SHG women, and sort of make them a part of that. So I think, and you are the bridge between those two. Right, so we're hoping over the next 3-4 years we can make this into a bit of a mass movement of social entrepreneurship. And I just believe that social entrepreneurship is a bit of a weird thing. I think all entrepreneurship has to be social entrepreneurship. So yeah, look forward to working with you, being alongside you over the next 3-4 years as you go on that journey. And I truly hope this becomes a bit of a mass movement, right, start of that. Congratulations to all of you again, and thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Krishna, for valuable inputs about Mahila Biz. So, moving ahead for the next session. And next session, for that, I would like to invite Anurag to introduce our guest. Thank you.
Thank you, Arvind. Hi, very good afternoon, everyone. I am Anurag. I just joined the Mahila Biz team to kind of help build this initiative under Ved's guidance. Thank you, Ved, for this incredible opportunity to introduce my ex-boss and my mentor, Pankaj. Pankaj and I have had a long association. 20 years back, I had the opportunity to meet him at IIT in my final year, where he was invited as a speaker on entrepreneurship. And I think we loved him, myself and another friend of mine. and we kind of kept engaged. I joined PwC, and then we wanted to learn more, do more, so we met him at his home, and I think we just loved it. And Pankaj is a serial entrepreneur, a very, very successful serial entrepreneur. And not to mention, I mean, not just Pankaj, but we have Purnima also, who has been Pankaj's life partner, business partner. And I think it's very important for most of the entrepreneurs that, you know, co-founders have, I mean, they bring a lot of value into whatever you do. And I think this is a classic example. So together they built many, many ventures, I&I Consulting being one where, you know, I had the opportunity to do work under them and learn from them for about 6-7 years. Then they built I&I Farms. I&I Farms actually became extremely successful. And I think no better opportunity for fellows to have somebody who has been there, done that, built a business from scratch, you know, raise money from Avishkar, basically picking a problem and then raising money from Avishkar, Unilaser, Aspada, and then I think very recently an acquisition by AgroStar. I think he has just been there, he has done that, they have done that, and I think it's an incredible opportunity for us to learn from them. Pankaj is a BTech in computer science from IIT Kanpur, and he did he's actually a gold medalist from IIM Calcutta. And yeah, so I welcome Pankaj. Please join me in welcoming him to kind of conduct this session with Sanjeev sir.
एक्चुअली मैं आज यहाँ पे एक्चुअली एज अ E2F के ट्रस्टी के फॉर्म में हूँ. मुझे नहीं मालूम था कि मेरा डिस्क्रिप्शन हो जाएगा यहाँ पर. बट थैंक यू अनुराग, थैंक यू वेद फॉर दैट, रियली अप्रिशिएट. आई एम एक्चुअली हेयर टू learn and to learn from someone who is incredible, probably one of the most famous Indian entrepreneurs that you have. It's actually an absolute privilege for me to welcome someone who has really shaped what modern Indian entrepreneurship is about. Why I call it as a modern Indian entrepreneurship, of course entrepreneurship always existed in India. It's not something that's new, but it was either driven by a need or it was driven by community-driven community-driven aspects of how India was. But someone who actually formed what today, coming from any background, any aspect of life, you can actually create successful businesses out of India. And the gentleman that I'm talking about is, of course, Mr. Sanjeev Bhikchandani. मेरे ख्याल में he was dealing with modern entrepreneurship जब हम लोग शायद अखबार में नौकरियां ढूंढा करते थे. उन दिनों में वो इंटरनेट की एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप बिल्ड करने में लगे हुए थे. It's very difficult to even imagine what it was in those days. जो मुझे ध्यान है, in my early days, cell phone used to be, I think, 16 rupees per minute outgoing and 8 rupees incoming calls. In those days, in 97, how do you even build internet-driven online marketplace called Naukri.com? It's way beyond my wildest imagination. What did we even understand what venture capital was? Did we even understand what infrastructure existed at that point of time, right? It's way beyond my wildest imagination, what would it have taken? And therefore, learning from him becomes very, very important. Of course, he didn't only do Naukri.com, 99 Acres, Jeevan Sathi, Shiksha. I think he's built organizations as an entrepreneur. But he didn't stop there. he moved on to actually create, as an investor, as a supporter of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, to build organizations that change the way the country behaves, right? I mean, organizations like Suman, Blinkit, along with that, and as I was speaking with him, he shared with me that it actually has created 10 lakh jobs. I mean, just imagine, is this a social entrepreneurship? Is it a commercial entrepreneurship? What are we even talking about here, right? And it's again, 10 lakh job. What Anurag described as Purnima and my success, we were largely working with about 5,000 farmers, created about 10,000 jobs, and I felt like, bahut kuch kar liya. But when you look at this, it is incredible. And it's also about what is possible in this country, right? And what we need to learn from him. What does it take? What does it mean? What does one go through to be able to create such organizations, such institutions? Last but not the least, he went ahead and even then further created institutions like Ashoka, right? I mean, from being an entrepreneur to an investor to creating something like today one of the finest institutions in India. I don't know, it's less than 15 years or close to 15 years, Ashoka has been, or maybe slightly more actually. People like us have benefited where my daughter went into Ashoka, right? And the kind of learning, I can tell you firsthand that the kids actually become amazing adults when they pass out through that Ashoka system, right? So it's just incredible what Sanjeev has achieved, what he has done. It's my absolute pleasure and a delight to have Sanjeev Bikhchandani with us today, and so that hopefully we learn something and get inspired as we go along with the process. Sanjeev, may I have you here?
Discrimination against somebody of a particular caste or a particular religion, right? To just pick up your bicycle. You can deliver on a bicycle, you can deliver on a moped, you can deliver on a chotu EV, you can deliver on a motorcycle or a scooter, right? If you put in 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, you will make, in all likelihood, more than 30,000 rupees a month. Okay, gross, you take out your cost, 25-28 रुपए बन जाते हैं. It's hard work. It's धूप में, सर्दी में, बारिश में. It is hard work. But then so is construction labor. So are 100 other things you do in India. But if my knowledge is correct, the minimum wage in Delhi is the highest in the country. वो 20,000 रुपए है. You are well above that minimum wage. But मेहनत का काम है. And it's your choice as to how much effort you want to put. But anecdotally, so I have a colleague in the office at Info Edge Ventures, our investing arm. His name is Rishabh Katiyar. He told me his father-in-law, I think Jhansi में है या रांची में है, I forget where. इसे उनका ड्राइवर वो 5-5:30 बजे फारूक हो जाता है. He says from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., maybe 10 p.m., I deliver on Zomato and I make 6,000 rupees a month extra. He's happy. It's genuine gig work. So I think, very often things happen which you hadn't anticipated, planned, or you're working for the day. अब कोई बड़ी चीज़ बन गई है. It's got, secondary, tertiary benefits. It's got externalities which are positive. That's great. Or we invested in a company called Policy Bazaar. Right? Now, Policy Bazaar, is comparison shopping of insurance. While they themselves employ maybe 15,000-20,000 people who assist or guide or sell insurance, more importantly, they've got a platform where independent insurance agents get leads. So maybe 15, 20 lakh people get some leads and they're able to make some sales and earn some income. Of course, they have other sources of income. Maybe they have other businesses also, because an insurance agent is often also doing other stuff, right? But it enables livelihoods. It enables income. This was not कल्पना नहीं थी हमें कि इतने बड़ा हो जाएगा. अब हो गया है. डिजिटल इंडिया जब हमने चालू किया था, आपने मोबाइल फोन का जिक्र किया था, there was no internet on mobile. There were, when we started Naukri in April 97, there were 14,000 internet accounts in the country, 14,000. It looked like a large number to me. Access only by dial-up modem. Access only on PCs. उस time laptop भी नहीं थे, कम थे, right? No access by mobile phone, no smartphones. But it looked like a good enough number to me. चालू करते देखते क्या होता है, right? So, vision is something which others attribute to successful people, often in hindsight. That's the truth. So I did not have a vision when we launched Naukri. I had a sales target. Right? I said, if we can get 500 companies every month to pay us 1,000 rupees to list one job every month, right? That's 5 lakhs a month of sales. So saal mein ho gaya 60 lakh. Now, when we launched Naukri in 97, I had been an entrepreneur for 7 years. I quit my job in 1990 and I had done 20 small things. Right? No big idea. Salary survey, database, trademarks, some teaching, training, small-time consulting, whatever came our way to survive. I was running out of the servant quarter above the garage in my father's house. When I became an entrepreneur, there was no mobile telephony. There was an 8-year waiting list for a landline. My father was a doctor in the government, retired. So he had got priority allotment of a telephone line. Right? Doctors को मिलती थी because patients want to reach them. They serve their patients. So हमारे पास घर पे 2 phone थे. Okay, one was in the house and one was in my father's clinic in the garage, which is below the servant quarter. So Indian jugaad. I took a line as an extension from my father's clinic up in the servant quarter, and I had a telephone. Now that is illegal, because you were supposed to take permission from the telecom department to pull an extension. But I couldn't, because permission was not. Then you have to go and give a bribe and all. Better to not take permission than bribe somebody, I felt. Both are illegal. Right? Which illegality do you want to live with? Or you do without a phone, but then you can't have a business. Right? So khair, anyway, हमने चालू की. We bought second-hand furniture. Right? The company started with 2,000 rupees because that's all I had. I had done something very stupid. I had worked 5 years in 2 multinational corporations, and I got sick of it, and I said, I don't want to do this in my life. So I had 68,000 rupees in the bank. So in 1990, 68,000 rupees was a reasonable sum of money. My 1 year's take-home salary was 66,000 rupees. 5,500 रुपये महीने के. ठीक है? So मेरे पास 1 साल की तनख्वाह saved up थी. But I'm from the government background. My father was in the government. Mom is a homemaker. There's no business in the family. I'm desperately scared and risk-averse. मैं बहुत डर लगता था. मैं डरपोक हूँ, अभी भी हूँ. Okay. I said to myself, I was petrified. Quitting my job, and I said, what will happen after this money runs out? And I didn't have the answer. So then I met a friend. उस ज़माने में there was no NSE, there was no SEBI, there was no nothing. There was on 21 or 23 stock exchanges all over India. Outcry method, manual trading. तो दिल्ली में भी stock exchange थी. अभी भी है, but it doesn't work. Right? So a friend of mine told me, यार ये company है Bindal Agro. I said, अच्छा. I knew nothing about the stock market. I had never bought and sold a share in my life. So company Bindal Agro, उसका bonus issue आएगा. I said, अच्छा. तो शेयर प्राइस डबल हो जाएगा. So why don't you put all your money in Bindal Agro and then you will have 2 years salary as saving. I said, yeah, this sounds like a plan. Right? So I went to a friend's father. He was a sub-broker. He was a sub-broker in the Delhi Stock Exchange. Means he's a guy attached to a big broker, a sub-broker. And I said, uncle, suna hai Bindal Agro bonus aa raha hai. I want to buy Bindal Agro. He said, अच्छा बेटा. Sir, bonus aa raha hai? I said, जी, suna hai. So beta, why don't you, instead of taking delivery, use your 60,000 rupees as margin money and buy it on forward, badla, So you will make 10x instead of 2x. So I said, man, this is a cool scene. Even after tax, I'll have 5 years of salary as savings. Then I'll be safe and secure. So, in the room. So you buy first, then others follow you. Tabhi price upar jayega na, right? So I was wrong on both counts. The share price had already doubled when I bought. Right? Was the one there was no equity research, there was nothing published, there was no internet, there was no databases. You just bought or sold. Second, the rumor was wrong. Bonus issue nahi aaya. So the share price halved. So instead of doubling. So after 1 week he calls me, I say, beta, now we are square. Okay, so now I was down to 2,000 rupees. Right? So that's how the company started 2,000 rupees. Okay? Because I blew up all my other money. So I've done some really stupid things. Right? And I started off the company doing a really stupid thing. So it was not an auspicious beginning. And I made up my mind I will never again touch shares in the stock market. And from then on, this is 1990. From 1990 till 2016, 26 saal, I did not invest, buy a single share in the stock market. I just focused on the company and what we did. So that's how the company started. Second, and we started by doing a salary survey. So I said, but because I was down to 2,000 rupees, I said, what do I do now? The company's got no money. I have no money. But I have a biodata. Columbus, Stephens, I'm Ahmedabad, 5 years work experience, in advertising and marketing. So I took my CV and went around to management schools in and around Delhi. That time the MBA boom was just starting. Not yet, but there were a few business schools though, in Delhi. So I landed an assignment with IMT Ghaziabad to teach a course called Marketing and Service Industries. And I was getting paid 175 rupees an hour. Right? And I said, if I can teach 4 hours a week, I can, make about, 700 rupees a week. And, say 4 to 5 weeks in a month. Okay. I can do about 4,500 rupees a month with some luck. Which is a little bit less than my earlier salary, so I'll get by. So that became my jugaad, my weekend jugaad. To teach on weekends, try and build a company on weekdays, and put in extra hours, through brute force, somehow do it. So that's how we started really. So there was no big idea, there was no vision, there was no nothing. We worked day to day, week to week, month to month. We launched Naukri as a seemingly small idea, because हमने 20 small idea कर ली थी, 21वां था, because there were only 14,000 internet accounts in the country. So it was not meant to be big. It was meant to be small. अब इतने बड़ा बन गया. Right place, right time, worked hard, worked smart, got lucky. We became big. At that time there was no VC, there was no venture capital in India.
That saved you a lot. That seems to have saved you a lot of dilution, first of all, the VC not being there. And the other learning is that you seem to be the first gig worker of this country.
Well, visiting faculty, yeah. So I started visiting faculty, in IMT Ghaziabad. Feedback अच्छा आ गया students से. They used to correct feedback after end of every term. Feedback अच्छा आ गया. So the director caught hold of me. And he says, General Sareen, retired, and he was the director of IMT Ghaziabad. He says, son, you've done very well. That time I was 28 years old. He said, son, you've done very well. I want you to get me 10 people like you from your class at IIM Ahmedabad, or others whom you know with similar backgrounds. And I want more visiting faculty like you. So I managed to get about 6, 7, 8 people from the various IIMs who had experience, 4, 5, 6 years, to come and teach at IIM Ghaziabad. Right? And that, I got other gig workers.
That's awesome, Sanjeev. And just to, the way this conversation is structured is actually we had asked people from the audience who would be attending here if they had specific questions for you. And I have the list of questions. And therefore, we basically address what people actually want to ask you, right? That's the idea. Broadly, based on the questions that we have received, I realized there are maybe 3 or 4 different categories of questions, and therefore we'll pick them together so that it's easier to have that conversation and cover each of the topics that you're talking about. I have the question, so I'll be calling out the name of the person who has asked that question, but I'll go ahead and ask the question myself. Broadly, the categories that we are talking about, there are some questions around you as a founder, some around investments, how people can get investment, some around what as founders they should learn, what would be the guidance from you, and some around building the institutions, both Buddha as an institution and as organizations, entrepreneurs. Most of us have aspiration of creating organizations that last beyond us, right? So those, I would say, are the 3 or 4 broad categories that I have the list of questions that are there with me. So I'll start with that. Maybe first, picking up from what you've already shared, we have a Buddha fellow, Tatya Sahab Fattare. His question is, what mistakes do first-time founders commonly make while scaling, and how can we avoid them?
You see, when I started out, I didn't think of scaling. I thought of surviving. The company couldn't pay me a salary. I had got my jugaad by teaching. So I would earn from teaching. Company would somehow break even without paying me a salary. और ये चला 10 साल, this phase. So for 10 years, out of the first 10 years, for roughly 7 years, the company could not pay me a salary. And whenever it could pay me a salary, it was sporadic. कभी मिलती थी, कभी नहीं मिलती थी. जब surplus हुआ तो 3,000 रुपये मैंने अपने आप को तनख्वाह दे दी. जब नहीं हुआ तो नहीं दी. So the highest salary I got in those 10 years from the company was roughly about 3,500 rupees. Right? But I was supplementing it with teaching. Right? And for 70% of the months, I could not get a salary. Okay? So we were barely surviving. And my priority was survival. You have to pay salaries by the 30th of every month. And by the 24th and 25th of every month, I would start to get tense. Because bank mein paise nahi hote the. How will I meet payroll? And there were 7, 8 people who were depending on me for salary. And these are not highly qualified people. These are people who will not get jobs and go elsewhere. And if I don't pay them, they won't eat. Okay, because they are from not so well off families. Those are the kind of employees we had. Data entry operators and stuff. 1,200 तनख्वाह, 1,400 रुपये तनख्वाह in those days, right? महीने की. But somehow, money would come before the end of the month, right? And so we never defaulted on salary. Scaling, we thought of scale for the first time after we raised venture capital. So I was actually quite happy running a small company out of my house, 9-10 log. We were doing about 3 lakh rupees a month turnover then by end of 99. And we were breaking even. In fact, we made a 2 lakh rupee profit that year. I wasn't taking a salary. But I was confident, agar 3 lakh rupees mahine up kar rahe hain, in another year or two, we'll do 5 lakhs a month. And at 5 lakhs a month, I can take a 50,000 rupee ki tankha. I was confident. So I was on the verge of earning a salary from the business, I felt. And I was therefore very happy running a small business. It's sustainable hai, mere ko tankha mil jayegi. So my only ambition was to earn a salary. Ki tankha mil jaye bas. Right? And business should be sustainable and make a profit every month and grow maybe 10, 15, 20%, 30% every year so that, you know, inflation and I'm getting a salary. Modest salary, not a great salary, less than I would have got in the market with IIM Ahmedabad plus 14 years experience, but still a salary. That is my sole ambition. Now, around that time, the dot-com bubble happened in the US and in India also. And venture capital came into India. Right? And they approached us also. मैंने मना कर दिया. मैंने बोला कि I don't want to complicate my life. Thank you so much. I will not sign a complicated agreement and have you on my board and telling me what to do. I value my independence. And मेरे को बड़ी कंपनी नहीं बनानी है. मैं छोटी कंपनी में जाने मैं खुश हूँ. Right? Now what one venture capitalist did, he went and funded competition. So suddenly there were ads on TV on the India-Pakistan cricket series in Sharjah, which was a big thing in those days, of one of our competitors who just launched, jobsahead.com. Some of you might remember. And that is when you got scared. And we went back into the market, saying, we've changed our minds, we will raise venture capital after all. Right? We went with our tail between our legs, all arrogance is over. We need your money. Okay. So we got lucky because, bubble time, I spoke to 4 venture capitalists, I got 3 term sheets. So, it was not a special skill I had with raising money or special knowledge experience. It was a circumstance. It was a bubble. In a bubble, money was chasing companies and startups. So the market circumstances were favorable. So, 3 term sheet mil gayi. We went with ICICI Venture. And we got really lucky because we got the money 2 weeks before the bubble burst. So we got the money, it's in the bank. We got it at a high valuation, because bubble tha. And we didn't have time to spend the money foolishly. Okay, we simply put it in the bank and fixed deposit. Say, ab kya kare? Now, all other dot-coms in those days, which had raised money, even 6 months earlier, they had fancy offices, ad campaigns, expensive employees. Saying, boss, ye to, the internet will change everything. Everybody thought they were. Sabke dimag California mein the. Right? People would imagine it to Silicon Valley hai. But actually it was Jamna Par, which my office was in Jamna Par. Okay. Okay. So we just put the money in fixed deposit and we grew the company slowly, methodically, trying to figure out what to do. And because we had spent 10 years before that without any money, I wasn't taking a salary, we were naturally frugal. But देखो एक चीज़ होती है कि if you take money from somebody else, a venture capitalist particularly, they will want an exit. They will want an exit in a finite time frame, 5 साल, 6 साल, 7 साल. They will want an exit at 20, 30 times the valuation that they came in at. Because a venture capitalist doesn't earn that in a successful company. He doesn't make up for the losses in the other companies. Therefore, that's the expectation. So you have to grow. Because if you don't grow, you can't deliver an exit at that valuation. Okay? And they have all sorts of clauses in the agreements, and they're on your board, and they might own only 15% of your company, but they have disproportionate powers. So that is when we were forced to scale. But I was very happy, not running a small company out of my house, but the khush tha yaar. Life became very complicated after venture capital, and scale karna hai. Okay. Now, the mistakes, you make many mistakes, but I think the big mistake people often make is if they have money, if you have money to scale, You spend it on stuff based on the often mistaken assumption कि sales हो जाएगी अगर मैंने पैसे खर्च दिए. Very often sales नहीं होती है. You spend the money on advertising, but customer नहीं आते हैं. क्या करें? You launch a new product, but customer doesn't want it. क्या करें? You assumed that you'll get 10,000 customers, but you only got 500 customers. क्या करें? You assume the customer will buy at this price, but actually the customer only buy at this price. At this price, you don't have margins. क्या करें? So there are many, many mistakes people make. I'm trying to scale, and different people make different mistakes. And you will almost always make mistakes. A lot of it is trial and error. You try, you make a mistake, you try again, slightly differently. Right? So we made many mistakes, but if we did 10 experiments, and one worked, that one thing saved us. Now what is that one thing? See, we used to sell by direct mail earlier, before we raised venture capital. हम चिट्ठियाँ भेजते थे, check आते थे. We would upload the jobs on the site. Along with the jobs, they would send us a check because we set terms of payment 100% advance. पैसे भेजो, jobs भेजो, we'll put it up. So we used to bail out to maybe 8,000-10,000 companies every 2 months, and we'd get paid. Now, business had reached 3 lakhs a month and was not growing further because that method of sales could only deliver this much result. So हमने एक experiment किया. We hired 4 salespeople in Delhi saying that they will go and make sales calls. Right? And then let's see what happens. So we hired 4 salespeople, and within 6 months we learned that the total cost of the salesperson was 22,000 रुपये महीना. 10,000 तनख्वाह, 2-3,000 sales commission, conveyance, fully loaded office rent, air conditioning, computer car amortized, spread over 5-6 people. We had shared computers, right, and so on and so forth. So 22,000 रुपये में you could run one salesperson. Now within 6 months, that salesperson was generating 50,000 rupees of sales, headed north. हर महीने बढ़ रहा था वो number. And there was zero variable cost. There was no extra kharcha to put up one extra job on Naukri. Right? There's no variable cost. So 28,000 रुपये margin था, and this margin was going up. He said, that's pretty cool. So we had found something which in our internal terminology and jargon we call a repeatable profitable unit. We said keep on adding more and more salespeople across the country. So within 2 years, we had 241 salespeople in 11 cities. And all were making more than the cost. And we had broken even, and we had grown by 35 times. Okay? So one big thing, now there were 9 other experiments which probably failed. Okay? So we kept trying different things till this one worked, and we did it. So the one piece of advice I'll have for anybody who wants to scale is, can you find your repeatable, profitable unit and take it to the market without a very high cost of selling? If you can do that, you will scale profitably. Now, a repeatable, profitable unit can be anything. If you're running a restaurant, it can be your next outlet, it can be this dish, whatever. But some repeatable, profitable unit.
Yeah, and essentially you're saying that the repeatable, profitable unit, sometimes you have to experiment.
We had to experiment. Others may get it first time.
Yeah.
Maybe people are smarter than us.
Yeah. But those experimentations are important, and failures would be there. And in general, failures would be there. And
so we had a cushion of venture capital, right, in the bank, so we could take those experiments and do the failures. If you don't have money, then you may not be able to experiment so much.
So interestingly, that leads me into the next question, which Sharad Nirala, another Buddha fellow, has asked, is at what stage should a founder stop experimenting and start focusing deeply on one scalable model?
The market will tell you, yaar. Your sales team will tell you, your finance guy will tell you, कि boss इस पे profit आ रहा है, इस पे profit नहीं आ रहा है, इसकी sale बढ़ रही है. Customer will demand stuff. आपको उसमें ज़्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाना है. You have to basically have a mindset of focusing. See, I don't have a mindset of focusing. I have many ideas. I want to pursue every one of them. And I think there will be very many founders here who will have the same problem. It's in the nature of the entrepreneurial mind to be creative, to think of many things, to try many things. Every time you get a new idea, you fall in love with it. Yeah, is that a fair thing to say? Yeah. But at some point in time, your customer is telling you, मेरे को ये चाहिए, मेरे को वो नहीं चाहिए. So listen to the customer.
That's very powerful. I think what you're saying is only the market or the customer is going to tell you at the end of the day what is the repeatable, profitable unit. Your finance and the combination of that and what's selling more is what you basically need to then focus on and get that right. It's amazing.
But to do that, it's very important to make sales calls yourselves. I used to make sales calls. I used to meet customers. And when I made sales calls, I would not sell. I would simply say, sir, I've come to take feedback. I would take notes. So customers also like that because they say, hey, the founder of the company is coming and taking notes and I'm speaking. So sale apne aap ho jati thi. Because the sales guy was doing. I was merely giving him cover.
This next question is from Kashi, who's a team member. It's more personal to understand what drove you towards entrepreneurship. Well, I think you started what you did. But
the dream was there since I was 12 years old. But like many dreams of 12-year-old schoolboys, they keep changing. So मुझे याद है, so we are all daydreamers, right? I was a daydreamer, I still am. My best daydreaming time was in the school bus on the way home, staring out of the window, daydreaming. Right? So when I was 10 years old, so we used to live in Chanakapuri in the government flats. And 1970 में Chanaka cinema बना था नया. Since then it's been demolished and now there's a mall. But the original Chanaka cinema was built in 1970. And उस ज़माने में there was no TV in the house. We were not allowed to see movies because they are bad influence. So I was allowed to see a movie once in 3 months. So I would go with a bunch of friends and see a movie in Chanakya once in 3 months. So we saw 3-4 in a year. So I went and saw Hathi Mere Sathi, Rajesh Khanna ki, early 70s, I forget which year. Right? It was Salim Javed's first film together, which I now realize is a landmark, but that time I didn't know. And I came back completely starry-eyed. I said, मैं बड़ा होकर राजेश खन्ना बनूंगा. You know, 3-4 महीने लगे for me to realize that it's probably a futile dream. Okay, but by then I wanted to play Test cricket for India. 6 महीने और लगे to realize that that is also a futile dream. You know, you don't make a career playing cricket. At least in those days you didn't. Right? You make a career by studying hard, getting the marks in school, getting into a good college, and then getting a good job. That's how you make a career. Right? And that was drilled into my parents, teachers, peers, everybody. So my dreams kept shifting. But by the time I was 12 or 13 years old, there was there were 2 or 3 new magazines launched in the country. One was Business India, one was India Today, mid-70s. So I think there was a cover story about J.R.D. Tata in, I think, India Today around that time. So I saw it, and I was hugely inspired. I said, you know what, I think it's a good idea for me to start a business. In those days, we didn't use the word entrepreneurship. I said, business chalu karunga. Now, this dream did not go away. It was also more feasible, right? And it was not something, I could study, work, and become a businessman afterwards. So it did not disrupt any of my other plans. And so I had this dream, this aspiration, but I also did not have the courage to quit my job. Salaried background, father in salaried job. I began to work, getting a salary.
So there are different reasons why people do this. Another comment, you didn't become Rajesh Khanna of Bollywood, but I do think you became Rajesh Khanna of entrepreneurship, and you became Sachin Tendulkar of investors, right? So both the dreams also in some way or the other also managed to get fulfilled. But that's amazing. I would actually, next, a question that I slightly maybe getting into a different direction, but I like this question. And Indranil, who is one of the mentors that is there with Buddha Institute, has framed it in the context that you've already framed, where, in 97, there was no internet, no online hiring was widely trusted. What were the specific early decisions you took, product-wise, brand-wise, or behavior-wise, that helped build credibility and trust among users? And how can early-stage entrepreneurs today apply those lessons when they are trying to build trust for entirely new solutions, especially in underserved or rural markets?
So I'll tell you what we did. See, almost all our successful businesses have been built on what we call deep customer insights. Right? So when I was in my last job, I was in marketing, consumer marketing. I was working for a company that was then called HMM, after various name changes and mergers and acquisitions. It's now called GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Healthcare. I was working in marketing on the brand Horlicks. Right? And the company owned other brands, Boost, Brill Cream, Eno, Marmite, other brands, Horlicks biscuits. So the junior marketing team was about maybe 7, 8, 10 people, all from the IIMs or other good business schools. And we would all sit in an open hall. And the senior guys would sit in cabins. Right? Hum open hall mein the. What this meant was I could see everybody at their desks, and I could observe them, and I could hear what they were saying on the phone. In those days, there were only landlines and we had extensions. There were no mobile phones. And I noticed something unusual, that every time the office copy of the magazine Business India would come and go from desk to desk and people read it, I observed that everybody would read it from the back. Because there were 35 to 40 pages of appointment ads at the back of the magazine. In those days, it was the #1 appointment ad medium for managers. Sometimes people would pass on the magazine without reading a single article, but wo ads dekh liye, pass on kiya. And then they would start discussing, bhai, ye job hai, is pe itna deri hai, are we earning enough? People are constantly benchmarking. Now, this is a multinational, it's a good company, it's got important brands, you're being paid well. So if you wanted FMCG, you wanted MNC, you wanted marketing, not sales, which means head office Delhi, right? You were in the best job you could be in, because there were only 2 FMCG MNCs in Delhi, with head office Delhi at that time, which was Nestle and HMM. And observed behavior was they would not hire from each other. So aapko aur naukri nahi mil sakti thi. And you paid well, good brands, prestigious. But still they would look at it, still they would discuss and not apply. Because they don't actually want to switch. And I said, yeah, this is strange behavior. Ki log magazine mein article nahi padh rahe hain, bas appointment ads dikh rahe hain. I said, okay, so appointment ads are a very high interest category of information. I could see people talking on the phone and hear at least this side of the conversation. And I realized that हर हफ्ते 2 या 3 phone आते हैं headhunters से to try and headhunt one or the other of my colleagues. And every time it's a different headhunter with a different job in a different company, and these jobs are not advertised. So I realized there are hundreds of headhunters out there with thousands of jobs, with maybe 10,000 clients, companies. And these jobs are not advertised. And jobs are high interest category of information. So there's a massive, massive, massive database of open jobs out there in the market, in a highly fragmented database, maintained offline. So if somebody were to aggregate all this information, keep it in one place, it'll be a powerful product. And keep it live and current. This is 1990. There's no internet, no nothing. I wanted to start a business. So I was getting 3 ideas a day. Right? There are 1,000 ideas, you're lucky if you do one. So this, but I didn't know what to do with these insights. I said, there's something here I can't figure out. What to do with this. So it became one of those file and forget kind of insights. I quit my job and we started doing salary surveys and 10-12 चीजें की. In 96 October, I saw the internet for the first time. I had gone to an exhibition in Pragati Maidan, an IT exhibition, and I saw internet. Demo liya मैंने. And that's when the penny dropped, and I said, एक काम करते हैं. Let's just get newspapers from around the country that carry appointment ads and rehash them in our own words and dump them on the net and see what happens. And that's what we began to do. We would get 29 newspapers from around the country into our office. And we take the appointment ads and put them up. So you talked about brand, right? Just one second. You talked about brand. Brand ban gaya by usage. We had no money to advertise. Right? But because the product was badly needed, people wanted to know about jobs, they would come to the site and they'd come back again and again. So by usage brand bana. Trust kahan se aaya? Because people applied to the jobs and they found the jobs were real. And the jobs were from newspapers and the companies were real and they were prestigious companies who were advertised. Right? So we didn't think a lot about brand building because paise nahi the hamare paas.
Essentially, you're saying it's the product which led to the credibility and the brand building at the end. Okay. Interesting. See, competition is always there. And how do you see this trust and credibility aspect as a business? How critical are these, and do they need to be consciously built and
trust is very important. So we didn't spend money brand building, but we were trusted because we were trustworthy. Because we had put real jobs from real companies in one place, and that was a useful service.
I don't think we'll be able to cover all the questions, but I definitely want to cover a question on the institution building that is there. We have again from Indranil as far as this question is concerned. And well, you've not only built InfoEdge, co-create Ashoka University, an institution in long-term societal vision. From your experience, what mindset shift is required to move from building a successful venture to building an enduring institution?
Well, successful ventures can also be enduring institutions. I mean, very many private companies are institutions. Right? I mean, if you last 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, you probably have built an institution. It's enduring. It probably is, the baton has been passed on several times. The founders are not there anymore. I think the acid test of an institution is, can it survive beyond the founders? The acid test is, can it reinvent itself, can it to remain relevant? Does it innovate enough? That's right. Ashoka is a not-for-profit institution, as an education institution, different imperatives. But let me tell you something. To build an institution that is large in the private sector, in the for-profit sector, you have to make a profit. Right? Without that money, how do you keep on reinvesting? To build a not-for-profit, let me tell you, Ashoka has mobilized about 3,000 crores so far, and we're not even halfway there. By the time we build out to full, what our vision is, it'll cost about 8,000 crores, the estimation. Right? Ashoka still makes a deficit, an operating deficit of 50 crores a year. So it's important to be able to mobilize resources. If you don't have customers that are giving you money, where you're making a profit, you have to be able to mobilize resources. So those of us who are in not-for-profits, if there are any not-for-profits here, you need the kind of resources that you do need if you want to build an Ashoka. Yeah.
So any specific advice in the context of Buddha Institute? Because we actually do not have a revenue model. It's largely dependent on grants and philanthropy. And Ashoka itself, though, has...
So do you have a full-time senior person whose only job is to raise money?
Yes, of course, Ved takes a very large load of that.
Along no, but he's not full-time doing that, right? He's doing other stuff also.
He's not full-time, yes.
So first thing is, you need a full-time person who's senior and capable to spend time only raising money. उसका काम ही वही है. It should not be a part-time job for somebody. If it's an important enough priority. Are you CSRable? Are you eligible to receive CSR money? Then you've got a target group of 5,000 companies which this guy should be making sales calls on. This person.
Fundamentally speaking, resources are a bare minimum requirements. Other things can come in later, but that's something cannot be compromised upon under any conditions.
Yes. But I suspect, I don't know, Ved is probably using his IIT network, calling a few friends, and maybe some of the money is coming from overseas. IIT wale sab jagah hai. So you've got FCRA, so paise aa rahe hain. And it depends on your IIT Kanpur network.
IIT Kanpur and IIM Ahmedabad, both of them are working well for him, I think.
I suspect IIT more than IIM.
That's an interesting comment. And
because IIM wale India mein hai, IIT wale America mein hai.
Interesting. Maybe I'll pick you up on this a little later and figure out whether that's true or not.
See, US mein na philanthropy tradition hai. India mein 60% of philanthropy goes into mandirs.
I think we have probably time for just one more question, and I picked this up. This is a more direct question, and therefore I'm picking this up. Srirang, another Buddha fellow, has actually asked this question. How should a social startup founder convince you to fund in their company? And how do you measure ROI in a social startup?
So here's the thing, right? Either you're for-profit or not for profit, right? If you're not for profit, it's very simple. We support a lot of philanthropies as a company through our CSR.
But the fellows are all for profit.
That's it. Now, if you're for profit, yaar, ye jo social veneer hai na, it more or less tells investors ki return ya to nahi milega ya kam milega, ya scale nahi hoga. You talk about Zomato. 10 lakh लोगों ने deliver किया in December. 5 lakh restaurants are being serviced. If you assume an average of 20 people getting a livelihood from each restaurant, तो 1 crore हो गए. This is all direct. Then you say, boss, 5 lakh people means 5 lakh motorcycles. Right? 10 lakh people means 10 lakh motorcycles. Right? Unke mechanic, unke petrol pump workers, unke families getting benefited. Right? Similarly for the restaurants, suppliers of food, suppliers of items. The tertiary benefits, secondary benefits are enormous. So is Zomato a social enterprise? You know, so Zomato's delivered fabulous returns for its shareholders. It's a commercial enterprise. So I don't, you know.
So this
here's the thing, right? If you're a for-profit, you cannot scale if you don't make a profit. Which means your priority has to be to make a profit. You have chosen a line of work where you will also make social impact. But that's an also. If you profit nahi banaye, you will remain small. If you remain small, you will not make impact. So your fundamental goal of making impact will then be limited to.
So in this context, specifically at the board level, we've had multiple conversations, and the key issue seems to be the intentionality. You know, so profits are there. What's the primary intentionality is the question that we kind of.
But if your intentionality, it can give you a warm feeling in the heart. But if you remain small, what's the impact? See, either you say, I will create a new model, and I allow 10,000 people to copy me. So suddenly there are 10,000 people like me operating in various geographies, and impact aa gaya boss, because 10,000 log ye kar rahe hain. Or you say, I will become big. But if you will become big, boss, you will not become big if you don't raise capital and you don't make a profit. And you will raise that kind of capital only if you can give that kind of return. And you will give that kind of return only if you make that kind of profit. I mean, the truth is that, you know, money does make the world go round.
Absolutely fabulous, Sanjeev.
No, this is, you know, I mean, this is what I think. I know enough people don't agree with me. But, you know, I think if I build a large company, make a lot of profit, and pay my taxes, I'm a good citizen. Because the tax I pay goes to hopefully good uses by the government.
Absolutely outstanding, Sanjeev. I think we couldn't have a better conversation than this, covering the journey of you as an entrepreneur, as an investor, as a thoughts on social entrepreneurship, on scalability, on the mistakes that founders can make, and how should one think about actually even impact, right? So really, really grateful to
Thank you
you
so much
for spending time with us and sharing your thoughts, Sanjeev.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
One second. So we'll hand over a book to Sanjeev, sir. So many times our fellows will keep on asking कि they would like to interact with an entrepreneur. And who better than Sanjeev sir to get an interaction with a Buddha fellow about his journey and what big things he have done and what mistakes he have made. So ये दिन तो वैसे आप ही लोगों का है, बुद्धा फेलोज का है, और ये क्लोज बिना आपकी बातें सुने तो शायद नहीं होना चाहिए. So I'll ask some of the Buddha Fellows, couple of them, if they would like to come on stage and share their experience, share their emotions to us, what they have felt today, and how they are planning to move ahead now. So any volunteer, anyone would like to come is welcome. Yeah, Manas.
Hello. Good evening to everyone. Respected resource persons and the Buddha Fellows, the respected batch sir. Okay. Sorry. And my most respected mentor, Sanjeev Bhatia sir. Okay. Hello. So, okay. Sorry, I'm not so familiar with mic and all. So I would like to express my gratitude to Buddha Institute to give this kind of a platform from a fellow from a eastern part of India. And it was really a great experience to share my thought and express on to what the fellows come from Pan India. So मेरे लिए बहुत बेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस था. मैं इसको मतलब शब्दों में बयां नहीं कर सकता. सच बताऊं तो मैं जेन्युइनली बताऊं तो मैं बहुत पीछे रहने वाला आदमी था, मतलब बैक बेंचर्स था. तो मैं कभी ऐसा डायरेक्टली फ्रंट फेस में आके बात करना मुझे नहीं आता था इतना एग्जैक्टली. और क्या होता था, अपना जगह में ना बहुत शर्म ज़्यादा आता था. तो इधर पे क्या हुआ, मुझे आके थोड़ा सा बात बोलते बोलते कल सर ने बोल रहा था कि मानस यार तुम आजकल बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट हो गए हो, तुम वो बात बोलना कर पा मतलब बात बोल पा रहे हो. मैं बोला सर वो आप लोग ही कमाल है. सो ये मेन बात है. तो थोड़ी देर पहले मैं हम लोग का मैं जर्नी का ही बता देता हूँ थोड़ा सा 2-3 चीज़ें. कि मेन तो है कि हम लोग ऑलरेडी SRLM से जुड़े हुए थे. आप लोग को पता होगा हम लोग डायरेक्ट पार्टनर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है SRLM का. हम लोग NRTP प्रोजेक्ट, नेशनल रूरल इकोनॉमिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन प्रोजेक्ट, ये एक नेशनल प्रोजेक्ट था जिसका बारे में थोड़ी देर पहले बता रहा था कि लाखपुरी DD स्कीम जो है वो चल रहा था. तो हम लोग पहला मार्केटिंग पार्टनर थे SRLM का जिन्होंने 10 लाखपुरी DDs बना के गवर्नमेंट को दिया है. तो हम लोग का लाखपुरी DDC अभी फ़िलहाल असम में 10 लाखपुरी DDs है जिनका नाम पूरा हम लोग का अंदर ही है. तो आई एम हैप्पी कि ड्यूरिंग दिस जर्नी ही ये हो पाया, क्योंकि इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम में मैं संदीप सर को रिसेंटली बोल भी रहा था, सर पता नहीं क्या हुआ लेकिन हम लोगों ने इतना इम्पेक्ट तो किया है एटलीस्ट. सेकेंडली मैं चाहता हूँ कि हम लोग का फेलोज से मैं 2-3 पॉइंट ही हैं. तो एक तो है हम लोग का जो फेलोज है अभी सब ग्रेजुएट होके जा रहा है इधर से. तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि 2-3 सेक्टर है जिसको आप लोग टच कर सकते हैं. मैं चाहता हूँ फर्स्ट है कि आप लोग ना टूरिज़्म सेक्टर को बहुत प्रायोरिटी दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि टूरिज़्म सेक्टर बहुत बूस्ट हो रहा है. और क्या हो रहा है कि लाइवलीहुड के लिए जेन्युइनली बताऊँ तो टूरिज़्म सेक्टर इज़ द बेस्ट सेक्टर. क्योंकि क्या होता है हम लोग ओनली हैंडलूम हैंडीक्राफ्ट फार्मिंग कर रहा है, लेकिन अगर वोमेन को एम्पावर करना है, अगर रूरल वोमेन्स को एम्पावर करना है, मुझे लगता है टूरिज़्म सेक्टर विल बी द ग्रेट सेक्टर. बिकॉज क्या होता है आप लोग देखे होंगे कि वोमेन्स का क्या होता है, घर भी संभालना होता है. तो उन लोगों को ऐसा काम होना चाहिए. खेतों में काम करने से मुझे लगता है कि बेस्ट थिंग होता है कि अगर उन लोगों को होम स्टेज काइंड ऑफ थिंग अगर उनको दिया जाए, अगर उनको कल्चरल की टूरिज़्म के ऊपर उसको कुछ फोकस में लाया जाए, इट विल बी ग्रेट. इवन मान लीजिए कि मैं कल को अगर मान लीजिए मैं झारखंड विजिट कर रहा हूँ या तो मैं कहीं पे केरला जा रहा हूँ, तो अगर वहाँ पे आप लोग ही अगर SSGs के साथ मिल के अगर होम स्टेज आप लोग बनाए जहाँ पे पूरा अपना कल्चर दिखा पाए, प्लस मैं होम फूड ले सकूं. नॉर्मली क्या होता है हम लोग होटल में ठहरते हैं तो क्या होता है खाना इतना वो मतलब होता है ना, इतना मसाला डाल देते हैं, वो सही नहीं होता. तो मैं ये कोशिश के लिए मैं नॉर्मली हम लोग एक्सप्लोनोसिस बोल के हम लोगों ने लॉन्च किया तो ताकि वो हो. सेकेंड है कि सेरिकल्चर सेक्टर आप लोग प्लीज़ हो सके तो फोकस कीजिए, क्योंकि इंडिया इज़ द ओनली सेक्टर जो सेरिकल्चर बहुत हम लोग का बड़ा सेक्टर है जिसमें हम लोग कल्चरली जुड़ा हुआ है. तो आप लोग प्लीज़ हो सके तो आप लोग ऑलरेडी है एग्रीकल्चर में, तो सेरिकल्चर में इफ़ यू कैन देन काइंडली ज्वाइन. मैं ऑलरेडी मुहिम शुरू कर रहा हूँ, तो आप लोग हो सके तो प्लीज़ आइए. और थैंक यू बुद्धा फेलोशिप टीम बहुत अच्छा लगा, मैं बहुत ग्रेट फील कर रहा हूँ। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Manas. Any other fellow would like to join us and share his experience or emotions? Yes. Come, Satyan.
आप सबको वंदन, प्रणाम, नमस्ते। मेरा नाम सत्येंद्र है और हमारे मेंटर जी का नाम संदीप भाटिया जी है और हमारे सोशल डेवलपमेंट एंटरप्राइज का नाम बस्तर से बाज़ार तक है, जो बेस्ड आउट नॉर्थ बस्तर छत्तीसगढ़ में है और ब्रांड का नाम फॉरेस्ट नेचुरल है। तो हम करते क्या है, जो जंगल में पाए जाने वाले वनो उपज है उसके साथ में हम मिलके काम कर रहे हैं। लगभग 1675 फार्मर्स के साथ में 25 गाँव में 25 समूह के साथ में हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। तो ये हमारा इंटरप्राइज का थोड़ा ब्रीफ हो गया। अब जो समझे हैं कि जैसे NN सिन्हा जी है, अमरजीत जी है और अभी भिकचंदानी जी है, तो मुझे एक चीज़ समझ में आई कि जैसे लॉर्ड कृष्णा बोलते हैं भगवत गीता में चैप्टर 2 में श्लोका 47 है कि कर्मण्यवाधिकारस्ते माँ फलेषु कदाचन मार्ग फल हेतुर्भूर्मा ते संगोत स्वकर्मणि। मतलब ये समझ में आया कि आप कर्म करते जाइए, फल की चिंता मत कीजिए, टाइम आएगा एक लेवल पे वो है तो चीज़ें ग्रो होगी या स्केल होगी। बट इसके साथ में मुझे ये भी समझ में आता है कि सबको सब नहीं मिलता और कहीं से जाने के लिए कहीं से निकलना पड़ता है। तो सार मुझे ये समझ में आया कि सोशल एंटरप्राइज की जर्नी स्पेशली जियोग्राफी लाइक बस्तर और जो रूरल वाले जो मॉडल से आते हैं, जैसे भिकचंदानी जी ने कहा कि स्टीफन्स और IITs और IIMs और जो इस कैटेगरी में नहीं आते हैं और जो फर्स्ट टाइम डेवलपमेंट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप या जनरेशन होते जिनके मतलब क्या बोल सकते पीछे ऐसा कुछ स्ट्रॉन्ग बैकअप नहीं होता है या बिलो पावर्टी लाइन फैमिली से आते हैं, तो उनके लिए थोड़ा सा चीज़ों को समझना और स्टेप बाय स्टेप बिल्कुल सजगता के साथ आँख कान नाक सब चीज़ को खुला रख के जाना थोड़ा सा डिफ़िकल्ट होता है। साथ साथ में एक बड़ी अच्छी बात यह है कि हम तो समझो कि खुद ऐसे आईवी लीग इंस्टीट्यूशन में नहीं पढ़े और उस समय भी नहीं था जब लेट 90s या लेट 2000 में, बट हम हमारी कंपनी को पढ़ा रहे हैं कि एक टाइप पे कंपनी को अगर पढ़ाना इन द सेंस जैसे फेलोशिप के फॉर्म में हो गया, इंक्यूबेशन के फॉर्म में हो गया, एक्सलरेशन के फॉर्म में हो गया, जहाँ से हमें नई नई चीज़ें पता चलती है और हम उसको इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हैं। तो उसी में बुद्धा फेलोशिप है। तो बुद्धा फेलोशिप में हमें ये समझ में आया कि जब हमने मास्टर्स इन डेवलपमेंट पढ़ा अजीम प्रेमजी यूनिवर्सिटी से बैंगलोर कैंपस से, तो डेवलपमेंट मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप बड़े हॉस्पिटल्स या क्या बोल सकते हैं बड़े संस्थान बनाओ, जहाँ पे ऑलरेडी ऐसे गवर्नमेंट के बहुत सारे चीज़ें बने हुए हैं, उसका ही आप लोग उपयोग करके कोलैबोरेशंस करके पार्टनरशिप करके जो आपका बिजनेस और जो पर्पस है वो कैसे वैल्यू आपका अलाइन होता है, वो हमें बुद्धा इंस्टीट्यूट के जो डेवलपमेंट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के मॉडल में वो हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा कि अगर आप गांव में महिलाओं के साथ में रह के एक चीज़ दो चीज़ और मुझे समझ में आई आज के सेशन में कि लोगों के यानी वर्किंग विथ पीपल और वर्किंग फॉर पीपल दोनों में ज़मीन आसमान का फ़र्क है। एग्जाम्पल के लिए अगर वर्किंग फॉर पीपल है हो सकता है ऑफिस, अगर मैं वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड का लूँ कैलिफोर्निया हो सकता है या फिर इंडिया में अगर लूँ तो राजधानी हो सकती है, बट काम X लोकेशन पे हो सकता है, Y लोकेशन पे हो सकता है। बट वर्किंग विथ पीपल यानी आप गांव में उनके घर में रह के ट्रस्ट को गेन करके उनके जो सुख दुख है, उनका जो पेन है, उनका जो सिंस जनरेशन जो चीज़ें चल रही है, दोनों में बहुत फ़र्क है। तो ये भी हमें समझ में आया कि डेवलपमेंट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का मॉडल अगर हम जैसे गांव के युवाओं को यहाँ तक अगर लेके आता, जैसे हमने पहले ही कहा कि कहीं पे जाने के लिए कहीं से निकलना पड़ता है, हो सकता है हम अगर यहाँ आज नहीं आते तो ये चीज़ों का हम लोगों को उतना नहीं मतलब आँख खुलती। तो ये हमें समझ में आया। और बाकी ये है कि आगे की जर्नी है, ऊपर वाले की कृपा है और आप मने का गाड़ा गाड़ा आभार बुलाए बद्दल धन्यवाद आपका.
Thank you, Satyendra. So we have a melodious session coming to now. So Siddharth is also taking us again for a melodious 5 or 10 minutes with us, and I'll request Siddharth to come. Yeah.
Right. So throughout the proceedings of the day, what comes is how people have learned and grown. But my mind always went running back to why this was all possible, and perhaps I think gratitude and appreciation of the mentor is very required.
When I am on your shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Prepare them, and it's at home. It's with the mothers. So as we got into this, we've been talking to some very important people around the world, Indian leaders, economists, and people who have dealt with the problems in the field. And it seems it's not just about the children being born, but the mothers. So the scope of what we want to do has expanded, where how do we help the mothers who take care of the children at home? And then it turned into a bigger issue, which you may not be aware, the young girls who may have children out of wedlock, and they may not be even educated about, taking care of a child, let alone educating the child, and let alone preparing for AI. So suddenly that has exploded into a much bigger problem domain. By necessity, Rita and I have to focus on the narrow aspect of preparing the children. And Mr. Arya has been kind enough to offer that he can help us speak about this to a much larger audience, many of whom are here, I believe. So hopefully our message will get across, and as we start preparing these programs, we would hope that it can be supported, but not just supported, taken on by people in India. Every village in India, every community should be taking this on. So one of the things I can take from our ancestry is you start with some action. And we are going to start working with villages that we are aware of, our own and any other villages, to actually see it in action. So with that said, we just came recently from Maharashtra. We were at Asia Plateau, which is the Initiatives of Change. Mr. Arya is aware of that. And we visited villages there where the farmers are not highly educated. It's not directly related to educating their children, but they have to have subsistence. So understand how they do organic farming for their own health and their own families, and then see how that can help them earn for the future of their next generation. So we want to go deep into some areas where we can understand what the problems are. It's not about just bringing a program to these children. With our limited time and effort and resources, hopefully we will at least get the message across. And then when we do all that, we run into groups that, it's amazing how many people we've met. In the last 2 weeks, we had the occasion to talk to railway doctors who were there for a convention. And we found out, gave a talk to 50 of them, but they represent 2,500 railway doctors, and these are numbers you may be aware of, who look after more than 1 lakh staff members. And if you include their families and also retirees of the railways in India, it's the largest organization, first of all. They're taking care of 7 lakh individuals. So we had this audience of these young doctors, and this message we shared with them, not only educating the next generation, but also about healthcare. And in healthcare, you know, having lived in America, supposedly the most advanced in everything, but home care or caregiving is a big gap. So one of the areas we are trying to address is caregiving, and it all comes back to India, where, you know, caregiving is really the way to have good health and good education. So it's a full circle, and that's the focus that we are working on. Some other areas we're working on, which are more technology related, but ultimately to help communities in India get all the technical resources. It's a much bigger challenge, and hopefully we can talk to larger corporate sponsors and even the government where they can help us to advance that. So it's very ambitious what we are trying to do. Hopefully this message gets across, and we'll focus on the early education where we can make the most impact and the most lasting impact. So this is our North Star, if you will, or the future, and whatever comes out of it, we'll be happy.
Thank you, Samir.
Thank you.
Just about launched a program for nurturing 1 million women entrepreneurs in the villages across the country. So you talk about this and we can take it there.
Perfectly. And again, you know, the women are advancing so quickly in the country. Rita and I are very excited about that. Yeah. And we've had some experiences that really opened our eyes. You know, the pilot on the flight, how this woman pilot, she took charge. We had some aircraft issues. She just commanded all of us, took us through all the security, and just took another plane and told the other pilot, you wait for the other one. And then, you know, I said, this is the future. So I think the women will make the biggest difference. The villages we visited, it's a community I should name. It's called Grampuri. It's a program that has been started many years ago by this lady, Mrs. Jayashree Rao. And in a quiet but consistent way, she's made a huge impact. So we would like to latch onto that program just like we would latch onto any program you have, whether it's to help women or to educate little children.
Before you worry, I think people would be, before you leave, I think one question I have which probably will excite or will actually intrigue people, or maybe they'll continue to think about, what really worries you about AI, particularly in the context of India, of course also in the world. what you told me, if you can just to give, where did the seed of this idea come to your mind from?
A very good question, and I think this is a question that will linger for a very long time. And even as we speak, this is how the world is, that right outside here, a sign that says we want to make AI transparent and real and inexpensive. But in my perception, because we've been in technology for decades, it will never be transparent, number one. It'll never be inexpensive, number two. And I think the third item, I forget what the billboard said. Unfortunately, those things will not happen. And I'm saying that just based on all the work we've been doing, that this is an evolutionary change. We're now seeing a change that is not just like an IT phase or something new. This is a paradigm shift. We're evolving to the next level as the human race. And we talk about this every day because we work deeply with that. So the thought came to us that there's really honestly, there's no real preparation for it. The only preparation is to learn as much as you can, as fast as you can. And the interesting, ironic part of it is AI can help you learn. So you see, it's a full circle. I'll give you an example. So recently, just about a week ago, there was some news in the US that it's creating some mental health issues with people because it comes across like a human being when you ask, and people are having relationships with AI. If they're lonely or if they need advice, and all these things are, making them feel that they're actually dealing with a person. So it's a whole new area. This is going to create a lot of psychology issues and maybe even more. So that's one issue. I'm just as a case. The other one is people are counting on AI to answer every problem that they have. Now here, the knowledge of AI is all of us humans combined, but how it presents it to you depends on how you ask for it. So if I may help you understand that, you'll hear the term large language models. So it is a language model. It's combined all of the languages in humanity, and Indian languages play a big role. But really, the technology is to predict the next word. So if you say something, now it's so advanced, it's trying to predict what's the next word you're going to ask. And based on that, as you repeat this conversation, it develops a persona of you. And you can go ahead and if you use any of these LMs, ask it to describe your persona. You'll be not only amazed but afraid that it knows you so well, more than your own mother. Go ahead and try it one day or today. So the issue is that AI is not a person. It does not have emotion. It has a lot of knowledge, but it may not give you the answers you need because of the way you ask it. So the one thing I'll want you to take away is always be in the loop. Human in the loop is the technical term we use. Anything you get out of AI, you must have oversight and review what you're getting before you apply it or even share it. Go ahead. Okay. No. Okay. Oh, thank you. That'll be very good. So these are just little touch points. But going back to your point, why did we decide to do that? Yeah. So, our business has been consulting for companies, large companies in many areas, pharmaceutical mainly, and deep in managing data. So the underlying power of AI is data, and you'll hear terms like data science or data. So we have a history and knowledge of where this evolved to the level it is now, and the scaling of this is so fast. So we know the data aspect enough to see where this could lead to, and we see that the results are coming out. The technologies are evolving so quickly. There's no way even people like us who are in the technology can keep up. We literally spend 80% of our time just keeping up with the newest developments and how to use AI. So I cannot imagine most people, average people, being able to work with it and really benefit. And we are living right in the center of it in Silicon Valley. So we are always, on the edge of knowing what's going on without being in the center of it. There are speakers from Silicon Valley tomorrow and day after, I think, who will talk about it. But they're going to present, AI from their vested interest. When you listen to, so that's the caution I have. So that's what we see, and we are saying we have to be here. We won't have the stage at the conference, but we want to know what these people are sharing, because there's always a vested interest. And even the experts in AI, whoever is claiming to be an expert does not know what happens inside AI. And let me say that you can ask them, and they will not be able to prove it. So that's a scary scenario, and even some of them are raising red flags about what AI means. There are always good things and bad things, but this has never happened in humanity before, in the human evolution. So there's no, it's sui generis in Latin, means it's one of a kind, it's a new paradigm. There's nothing you can trace back to history and say, this is how it's going to evolve. None of us are prepared for it, even the people who are in the field. So with that said, the only human response that we felt, we know so much, but we don't know enough. All we can do is maybe, hopefully, the next generation, how do we prepare for them? So that's what we spend every day thinking. And the next generation is the children born now and for the next 4 years. The older children, it's too late, I think, to prepare them to see patterns, to always be in the loop of what they're seeing, not be swayed by what they see on the phone. It could be fake. The technologies we use, I can translate this talk right now into 40 languages today, and actually I can do it live. Those are the kinds of technologies that have evolved. I can change my appearance. I can do many things. That reality is harder and harder to check.
So thank you, Samir, and I think we have triggered enough interest, enough worry about India, India's future. Samir is going to join us for lunch, I believe, and so please talk to him, and whatever queries come to here. There are Buddha fellows who are entrepreneurs and who will be very keen. They're young and they're very innovative themselves. So they'll pick up what you are saying, and of course they'll ask you, and I can connect you with them. There are mentors who had years of experience in industry, like the ITC. There are VC venture capitalists here. There are very serial entrepreneurs. So there are a lot of people here. There are senior IS officers. So plenty of people, and of course we have a whole network of NGOs, 98 NGOs who have about 16 million people's outreach in the villages. So we would be very happy to take your message and your worry, your anxiety, and what may AI not deliver, what it promises on the billboards. So thank you. And
thank you all, because we feel honored and privileged to have an audience. Any person, anywhere who's willing to spend 5 minutes, we are willing to share what we know as much as we can. And we have these conversations with, cab drivers and anyone we run into, and tone it down to their level, because there's just not going to be enough time to get to reach everyone. The only way we can do that is through all of you. And I think you're in a position to share it, learn from it for yourself, share it, and maybe collaborate with us in any way. We are here with that, and hopefully we can expand this as a movement, a grassroots movement. It's not a national program. It's not an educational institution. It's all going to be home-driven, primarily with families, primarily with the mothers of the little children.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you, Ved and Mr. Patel, for this lovely surprise for all of us. And now we are at the end of the program. So for the vote of thanks, I would like to invite Mr. Chitranjan Dar on the stage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much as we come to an end of this day, and it's been very exciting, and what we've gone through has been a bit unique in the history of Buddha Fellowship since inception. So I would like to start with our guest of honor, Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani. He is a tremendous entrepreneur. We've been reading about him, but never had an opportunity to see him. And one thing I realized is that I share 2 educational institutions with him. He's been to 3, I've been to 2 of those. And but also I realized that education and achievement are actually not connected at the hip, because then otherwise we would all have been Sanjeev. We are not. But so it's all grit, determination. Education takes you this far, but what he's done thereafter, and some natural instinct about observation, consumer, down-to-earth attitude, and going through the hard miles has made him where he is. And amazing story of entrepreneurship, and now into what he's doing for society, including the Ashoka University, etc., which have really offered, for the first time in my 70 years of existence, do I see that beyond an engineering and a medical degree, there is quality education. I'm not saying engineering and medical is all quality, but we have now quality education coming into liberal arts, into sciences, thanks to Ashoka University. And it has broadened and given us scope for much better educated future in this country, and I hope many other universities follow, and some of them are coming up, but this has been great. And thank you, Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani, because all our fellows and the mentors, etc., have actually received a lot of mentorship through your speech. I'd also like to thank our chief guest, Mr. N.N. Sinha, who laid down through his very, very experienced talk about linking our great scriptures and our great lives of people like Mahatma Gandhi to what we are wanting to do in Buddha Fellowship. So his was an inspirational speech, and we thank him a lot for it. Also Mr. Amarjeet Sinha, who talked about Mahila Biz, and he's been a friend of Buddha Fellowship for a while, and also his speech was very inspirational. He also has very excellent examples, and I think going forward we'll look to a lot more of interaction with them and a lot more of advice. So thank you to begin with. As far as our own people are concerned, first Gate Foundation, Sachi Bala and Krishna Thakur, thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting the next phase of Mahila Biz, and which is going to be critical in our movement forward of the whole ecosystem of entrepreneurship. I'd also like to thank Mr. Rajesh Daya, who, apart from being a mentor, is also a board member of repute, and we've always had a lot of advice, a lot of sagely advice on fundraising, on how to manage our whole ecosystem, and it's always been very, very useful. Pankaj, of course, is an entrepreneur par excellence. He's our Bikhchandani, and we hope that he reaches those heights, and I'm sure he will, with his wife, and we are very delighted that he also conducted this interview session so well, brought out all the concern areas or all the knowledge areas. Thank you so much. Rajiv Kapoor, of course, is an inspiration, personally to me and to a lot of our classmates. And as a director of Buddha Institute, we always look forward to his safety advice. Being an IS officer, he's gone through, we also have suffered as regards of governance and his ability to get into details which we often gloss. So he's a very hard taskmaster. But thank you for conducting the program today and for all your support. To all the mentors who are here and still remain here, thank you very much. I think a lot more will be required out of mentorship going into the future. Yesterday some points were made about the interaction between mentors and the fellows, and I think we should all take them very, very seriously and take that forward. In particular, I'd like to mention Indranil, because not only he's an unconventional mentor, because he gets into specific areas and gives a lot of his time and effort, creativity into a very specialized effort, and has benefited a lot of fellows. And beyond that, beyond the Call of Duty events like this, where there's a huge amount of back-end support to raise the level of this program and to get it to the level it is, including our anthem, etc. So thank you, Indranil. You're a very special person. But this day eventually belongs to the Buddha Fellows, and we are grateful that we worked together with you and for the last 2 years and 3 years. But once you are a Buddha Fellow, you are a friend for life and you have mentorship for life. So don't ever worry about calling on us or feel obligated that, whether we get disturbed. That's not going to be the case. We wish you very well in your business. I think what Bikchandani said today, take it with positively, and I think he was very, very, some of those qualities in him, please try and imbibe, including for-profit orientation, which I think all of us can do a bit more with increasing. So that remains to be a primary focus, with, of course, a rural heart. I would also like to thank RCRC partners, the Buddha Institute team. Excellent work done today and over the last 1 year. Would love to acknowledge Siddharth. I don't think he's here, he's just gone out. But some brilliant music from him. I didn't know. Hi, I think it deserves a huge round of applause. I think we could have done with 2 hours of more music, but yeah, oh, he did. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're brilliant. And Dr. Jyoti for the dance performance, which again was so unique and so brilliant. I wish some of our fellows had also done something like that, but next time maybe. So that's from me today. Thank you everybody for being present. And let's hope this becomes an annual event and we take it to newer heights. And before I Ved got in Mr. Patel, who also we must thank for the insights he gave us. I'd like to also welcome, not on the stage, but otherwise, Saurabh Khosla, who's a dear friend and a well-wisher. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Chittu sir. So, I think we all are hungry now, and lunch is also waiting outside, nearby reception. So, I am announcing closing of the date, and let's proceed for the lunch. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We will make it an annual program also. This